Okay, so at this point, we would like to begin the tenure process. And so to start the process, I'd like to call on Vice President Dr. Marie Hansel to talk a little bit about what the tenure process is and what we do here at Prairie State College.
Good evening, Chair, Board of Trustees, and Prairie State Administration, faculty, and guests. The tenure process is a very rigorous process that we have, and as a reflection of their commitment, the faculty and administration have jointly established 4 major criteria, of which is the basis for assessing candidates for tenure. And those areas are teaching effectiveness, curriculum development, professional development, and commitment to the college. By the end of the tenure process, the college will have faculty that contribute to the academic excellence and reputation of Prairie State. It's also a mentorship process and a self-reflection process where the faculty, you can see the tenure books, write about their thoughts, their concerns, their accomplishments, and improvements as they move towards the tenure process. And not every faculty member who we hire does receive tenure, so it is something that we take seriously and we're very proud of. And that is our tenure process.
And just so you know, Kimberly went to go get the books because for anyone that's not familiar, which I think everybody here is familiar with it, it's a lot of work and they're pretty phenomenal large books. So we usually have them here. You know, if Pat was on her game, they would have been here. See, here they are, and this is a compilation of Carolyn and John's last 2 years? 2.5, 3 years, yeah. Put those in fireproof safety. All right, so is this now when
Dr. Hansel, would you like to call on Dean Howard?
Yes, Dean Howard, would you please share some highlights of Assistant Professor Ms. Carolyn Ciesla's portfolio and your recommendation of tenure?
Could you have Ms. Carolyn stand up as well?
Please.
Thanks. We want to know who they're talking about.
She's our instructional services librarian, so she's in the library. Ms. Ciesla earned her bachelor's degree in art and creative writing from the University of Arizona, and then went on to get her master's in library and information science. Sorry, I'm getting emotional. I'll look the other way. San Jose State University. Before joining Prairie State faculty, Ms. Ciesla was the library and web service librarian at the Homewood Public Library. As our instructional services librarian, the bulk of her work is teaching. So librarians have a lot of different responsibilities, but her primary one is teaching. She also establishes our learning objectives and assessment for all of our library curriculum. She is truly phenomenal in the classroom. The student reviews overall, just consistently, semester after semester, talk about how energetic and charismatic, how she gets them involved in the research process and the conversations. Again and again, thank you. Again and again, they mentioned that the conversation wasn't one way, that she really brought them in. And this is a significant accomplishment because for a library instruction session, we get to see the students often for just one class period. And Ms. Ciesla doesn't have the privilege of knowing them before she enters into that classroom. So she has to often bring a group of really reluctant students into this conversation to critically think about the information and the research process. And it really is just a magical experience watching them, jump into this and really have these conversations. So I think her tenure committee would echo everything that I'm saying about her teaching activities.
Could you name them as well?
Yes, Professor Koch and Professor Nicholson, which is usually here, and Professor Lannon in biology. So somebody in English, biology, and music.
Okay.
We're on her tenure committee. She is responsible, as I mentioned, for the learning objectives for the library. So right away, she jumped into this big project where she created a curriculum map of where information literacy was being taught across the college. So she looked at syllabus and assignments and mapped out everywhere, how, and to what extent information literacy is being taught. That led to collaborations with departments we don't usually work with, like sociology and biology. She developed with the chair of the biology department information literacy learning objectives that she designed the curriculum for, and then assessed and was continually improving that process to make sure that she met those outcomes. Besides teaching, she also does reference, and she's responsible for our education, literature, communication, and fiction collection in the library. She has a strong sense of service. She's been on 2 search committees, many committees in the college, and lots of interdepartmental library committees. So as a library, it's really important that we work together. Everything we do impacts somebody else. All of her colleagues constantly tell me what a joy it is to work with her, that she's creative, innovative, hardworking, and find it a pleasure to have her be part of our team. Besides the college, she also serves on library professional committees. She's on 2 Illinois Association of College and Research Libraries Committee, and has been asked to create a pre-conference next year in October. So it is my pleasure to recommend Ms. Ciesla for tenure. Is there?
You did a good job. Thank you.
Did you plan this?
Oh, yes.
No,
not yet.
No, we have nothing.
Thank you, Dean Howard, for such a comprehensive and heartfelt review of Ciesla's portfolio. Based upon the evaluation of the dean, the peer committee, student evaluations, and the portfolio documentation, I hereby recommend to the president the candidacy of Assistant Professor Ms. Carolyn Ciesla for the award of tenure from Prairie State College.
Thank you, Vice President Hansel. Board Chair Agee, I hereby present Assistant Professor Carolyn Ciesla for the award of tenure.
Okay, and I'm looking for a motion that the Board of Trustees awards a a faculty tenure appointment to Ms. Carolyn Ciesla, Assistant Professor, Instructional Services Librarian, effective 2016.
Second.
What did I say? January 2016. Okay, I'm sorry. Chris, did you make that or did you count? Kyle made the motion, Bernetta seconded. Discussion? Mr. Secretary.
Trustee Corley?
Aye.
Trustee Mulhern?
Aye.
Trustee Wiley?
Aye.
Trustee Blackowski?
Aye.
Trustee Brodner?
Aye.
I say aye.
I say aye. Okay, congratulations.
Congratulations on your award of tenure. Here's your plaque. And here is a pin for you. And Dr. Hill, for you. Okay, and you can go over there and say a few words, and then you can have your interview. Oh.
I just have to tell you, Ms. Ciesla, that I told my sister, who always wanted to be a librarian since she was little, that you were getting tenure, and she was so jealous. She said, I don't even remember the name, the card catalog? She said when she was little, that she wanted to know if you did the same thing, she would go to the card catalog and pretend like she was looking up books just to smell them.
I actually cataloged my own library when I was
Yeah, she is so happy for you.
wonderful. Thank you so much to the board, Dean Howard, of course. Now I'm going to get choked up. And to my amazing faculty committee and all of my faculty colleagues here. It has been a whirlwind. I've only been here 2.5 years. But it's been phenomenal, and I've loved every minute. And I've discovered this passion for teaching, and I never want to stop. Thank you. Thank you for letting me keep doing it. So.
Congratulations. Do you want to get a
My husband's out of town, but I brought my daughter.
All right. Yeah, absolutely, come on. Does she need a scholarship?
Emma Ciesla.
Okay.
You have to say your name, right?
Yes, and what's she studying? Oh, look over. Congratulations. And Madam President, 6.3.
Okay, 6.3, we're going to be talking about a second tenure process. This is for Dr. John Schluter, and at this point, I'm going to have Vice President Craig Schmidt introduce us.
Turn this over to